ventilation used to be a very sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Then we'll go to English. We'll go to English. Like, thanks for telling that. What happens? What used to happen in the yesteryears was you used to ventilate babies not knowing about the outcome. What we wanted at that time was to get all ventilation into our hand, ventilate with our own desired pressures, our own desired mode, and then bring the baby out. If he comes out, it is his luck. If it doesn't, then also it is his luck. Now it is going on to becoming more and more patient friendly. Now you want to hold the baby to hold the ventilator in his hand and decide the settings. This is what you will be learning in the subsequent groups. Before going up to basics of ventilation, we must understand that what we are going to divide it in. First I'll be telling you a little bit of applied physiology in 10 minutes. Then we will go on to indication of ventilation. Then we will go on to practical demonstration of ventilation, its setting, and something about the strategies, not in terms of strategies, some modes about how to ventilate the baby. Let's not write down, so if you have some questions, you can. So as far as applied physiology is concerned, you must understand newborn is not a miniature adult. Okay. Picture. What difference does newborn have than adult? Let me know. In terms of respiratory physiology, what do you think is different? Tell us. Chest wall compliance is different. The chest wall is pliable. The ribs are yet to be developed. They are more cartilaginous. Something more?
That bucket handle movement.
Yeah, there is no typical bucket handle movement or water tap handle movement seen in newborns. It's actually when the baby adults inspire, the chest inflates, whereas when a newborn inspire, it chest actually caves in. So this is first disadvantage. Diaphragm is another disadvantage. It is strongest and more easy to get fatigued. Apart from that, the problem of surfactant never arises in adult. It is always there in newborn. The cardiac output is different. Another physiological difference between adult and newborn is to increase minute volume. You know what is minute volume? What is minute volume? It is tidal volume into respiratory. That is what gives the baby oxygenation and removal of carbon dioxide. What happens in adults is, suppose if I have hypoxemia, I will try and increase my respiratory rate, but my tidal volume also increases. In newborn, only the respiratory rate increases, tidal volume doesn't increase. This is at a great disadvantage. This baby will go into respiratory fatigue much earlier. What is another difference is presence of fetal hemoglobin. This is very bad. It has got good oxygen consuming capacity, but in times of crisis it never liberates oxygen. So again a disadvantage for hypoxemia. The myocardium is weak. Everything in newborn is so weak that the baby is likely to go into respiratory failure much earlier than adult is supposed to go. So this is something which is different in newborn and pediatrics and adults. Before going into actual respiratory physiology, let's look at the process of ventilation. What is natural ventilation supposed to do? Take oxygen from environment, put it down to the trachea, down to the lungs, enter the blood vessels, that is pulmonary circulation, go to the heart and get it pumped. Go to the heart, get pumped to the body. And who is the actual receiver? Who is the candidate customer of this oxygen? Each and every cell of the body. So this whole process is known as effective ventilation. इसमें कहीं भी कोई भी problem आ जाए तो babies are known to give rise to respiratory failure. So I am defining respiratory failure for you at this point of time. It is defined as poor oxygenation versus ineffective removal of carbon dioxide, with or without, either single or both put together. And we always tend to forget that ventilation is not alone, it is also associated with hemodynamics. The heart is not to be forgotten. So poor perfusion in case of shock. Ventilation is good. Oxygen, carbon dioxide removal apparently is okay. But the perfusion is not good. So the baby is again likely to go into hypoxemia. So again the importance of perfusion over here. And last but not the least, where does the oxygen get attached? To hemoglobin. So requirement of hemoglobin is also there over here. Now what message we want you to get across from respiratory failure is we should not ventilate babies at respiratory failure. We should ventilate babies much earlier than respiratory failure. So I am going to abolish the terminology for the next 45 minutes as respiratory failure. Any Tom, Dick, Harry can ventilate baby in respiratory failure. We want the baby to be ventilated earlier than that. So let's find out what are the causes of respiratory failure. We remove the terminology as respiratory failure and put in a new terminology that is known as respiratory distress. So let's define from now that babies who are having significant respiratory distress are likely to be ventilated. So these are the causes of respiratory failure also and causes of ventilation. So I want some causes of respiratory failure from you or respiratory distress from you. Let me know some. HMD. Okay. Let's call it RDS. HMD is a pathological diagnosis. So let's call it RDS. Then meconium aspiration syndrome. Then congenital pneumonia. Then can I simplify this for you so that you can remember very well? Let's go back to our postgraduate days. What used to happen is what we want you to remember is a simple way of remembering is this is respiratory distress. Why does it take place? Anything wrong in the respiratory system. RS. Anything outside the respiratory system. We put it as non-respiratory system. What does the respiratory system contain of? Lungs. त्याच्यामध्ये क्या है उसमें alveoli and vessels. Then airways, pleura, okay, and the muscles. That is chest wall and muscles. Okay. So now all your causes get fit. Example of lung disease, RDS, meconium aspiration syndrome, malformation, blood aspiration, TTNV, everything. Example of, that is alveolar. Example of vessel, pulmonary vascularity, PPHN, very right. Airway, obstruction. Example of pleura, pneumothorax, pleural effusion. Example of muscles and chest wall. Sorry, myasthenia is very good. Neuromuscular, myasthenia gravis, any neuromuscular disorder. So all these can give rise to respiratory failure. Look at non-respiratory system. Let us look at cardiovascular first. What is it? Cardiogenic shock, congestive cardiac failure. I have a good audience, huh? Very good. And CNS? Tell us something. Birth asphyxia. And okay, GBS. Okay, drugs. Very good. And something more in newborn, premature newborn? Intraventricular hemorrhage. Okay, then let's go on to hemat causes, which are very often forgotten. Tell me some hematological causes of respiratory. Polycythemia. Even earlier than that? Anemia. And hemoglobinemia also.
Nothing.
Okay, then let's come to GIT. NEC, right? And we always forget that there is metabolic also. So tell me some metabolic causes of respiratory failure and distress.
Acidosis.
Hypoglycemia, hyperglycemia, everything, hyper, everything. Everything can give rise to respiratory distress. So once you remember this chart in your mind, when you get a baby of respiratory distress, the message over here is think of non-respiratory. Respiratory तो सब सोचेंगे कि इसमें pneumothorax ये है वो है, पर कोई hypoglycemia नहीं सोचेगा, कोई birth asphyxia नहीं सोचेगा. So this is the first message we wanted to get across to you. So now you have diagnosed. We don't want you to diagnose the baby with confidence over here. We want you to tell us some probable etiology at this point of time. So what we are going to tell you next is, once you have got a baby of respiratory distress, when to ventilate this baby. If you have to ventilate this baby, you have to know certain criteria for ventilation. Those criteria are always clinical and investigation wise. So if you have to see clinical criteria, what I want you to remember is, you have to remember that respiratory distress is a definition. It is defined as presence of tachypnea, that is respiratory rate more than 60. Second point is presence of retractions, whether they are suprasternal, xiphoid, intercostal, subcostal, anything. Third thing is presence of grunting. What is grunting?
Breathing is a closed block.
Breathing is a closed glottis. That is baby's natural mechanism to break the respiration and provide CPAP to the baby or PEEP to the baby. This is physiological method. So if you put in an endotracheal tube, what are you doing? You are keeping the vocal cord abducted and avoiding the grunting, which is wrong. So henceforth, second message to get across to you is, endotracheal intubated babies should not be spontaneously breathing room air without any assisted ventilation. Third message is, once you put endotracheal tube in newborns, you must give some amount of PEEP or CPAP. Got this message? Fine. Now we are going to tell you something on certain scores. Okay. I'm introducing two new scores to you, which are known as Silverman Anderson and Down score. Silverman-Anderson score is applied to premature babies, which contains. Can you see this laptop from there? Is it, the screen is visible? I'm sorry. Is it visible now? So it is. It has a. Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks. Okay. If you see, there are 5 parts to it. There are upper chest, lower chest, and zipper contractions. There is nasal breathing, and there is grunting. These 3 are graded as 0, 1, 2. Again, it has got rules. 0, 1, 2. And similarly, there is a down score. There is a respiratory rate, cyanosis, air entry, grunting, and contractions. So you score them as 0, 1, 2. And what is the inference? 1 to 3 is mild distress. 4 to 6 is moderate distress. 4 and 7 is severe respiratory distress. What is the second terminology written over there? Impending respiratory failure. So I am introducing you to a new terminology that is known as impending respiratory failure. It means that this baby is giving you some window of opportunity to active. Okay. Respiratory failure, anybody can ventilate. It is impending respiratory failure, or now even before impending respiratory failure, you are supposed to ventilate the baby. Okay? Okay, this thing is revolutionized. I think it has become reality.
I've taken off like.
You look at baby's activity, you look at what concentration of oxygen baby is receiving. Whenever you are giving therapy, this will be repeated very often. Whenever you are giving therapy, you look at what therapy you are giving. You monitor the therapy and you monitor the effect of therapy. So if you are giving oxygen, you are supposed to monitor oxygen. And next you are supposed to monitor the effect of oxygen. The effect of oxygen is monitored with, as I said, color, that is clinical evidence. Second, you go to non-invasive method, that is pulse oximetry, that is the giant of today. And second thing is now there are transcutaneous pulse EOT monitors also available. And third thing is you do what Dr. Devpachar is going to take for you is ABG. Fine? What we want to tell you at this point of time, we have diagnosed respiratory distress, we have scored it, now we want to initially manage. Baby is going to be managed in the same way, there is no difference. Any baby with respiratory distress is going to be managed in this way. You clear his airway, maintain his temperature, sugar, assess his severity by scores to find out whether he requires ventilation, assess his cardiovascular status. Don't forget perfusion. How are you going to monitor perfusion of the baby is? By one is capillary fill time, second is tachycardia, third is urine output. Very good. And now you are having instruments available to monitor non-invasive blood pressure also. These are the 4 things by which you are going to monitor perfusion of the baby. And you are having oxygenation monitoring. And last is, by this time, reasonably you will be able to tell the etiology by a reasonable amount of confidence. Coming to what investigations will you do at this point of time? You can't get away with certain investigations. You can't get away with compromises in neonatology. That is one gold standard thing which you have to do. A chest X-ray is not required for ventilation. For ventilation, there is no investigation which is required. You can go ahead with ventilation. But for finer diagnosis and for more important surfactant, you require an X-ray chest. Second investigation, ABG. ABG is a luxury, is not a luxury, it's a necessity. But if you don't have ABG, don't withhold ventilation. Go ahead and ventilate and then do the blood gas. So these 2 investigations are to be remembered. Apart from that, these are the only investigations which you can do. What is the importance of the last investigation? Transillumination. You should remember this. Of course, we don't have the luxury of transillumination for all the times. Now I told you Silverman-Anderson score and we told you down score also. I must tell you the ABG score also, which Dr. Devpachar will tell you. You pick up pH, PCO2 and PO2 and put them. The pH going acidotic worse, PO2 dropping now and PCO2 increasing. 0, 1, 2 is the score. But this is an arbitrary score. अगर हाँ ये score normal नहीं आया तो baby को ventilate नहीं करने का, it's not so. These are all, we are what we are trying to give you in this workshop is pure guidelines. We are not dictating terms on you. These are all guidelines. 1 to 3 हो तो ये करना चाहिए. That in medicine there is 1 plus 1 is not always 2. It could be 3 or 5 also. So it's your own experience which matters. That's why we say ventilation workshop is only 5% technical. 95% is it is the user who is doing it. Okay. Fine. Now we're coming to absolute implications of when to ventilate. So if you should have some clinical criteria. What clinical criteria we discuss is respiratory distress. Significant increase in respiratory distress assessed by Silverman and Down score with ABG. So one word of caution over here. If you are getting a mild to moderate respiratory distress, these babies should not be ventilated as early. More the problems together, earlier should be the ventilation. So you have a 28-weeker who is not receiving anti-infective steroids, did not cry soon after birth, and had abruption in the mother. He comes to the NICU with respiratory distress. He weighs 980,000 grams. What do you think? What would you do first? Stabilize the baby, and you will find out whether this baby has respiratory distress or not. So I'll tell you, yes, the baby has respiratory distress. So your next question would be, what is the score of respiratory distress? So I say, Papa, it is Silverman-Anderson score because it is premature 4. So many of the physicians will not ventilate this baby. He's okay, 4 is moderate distress, should settle down. But this is an incomplete answer. I would like to ask me, this baby didn't cry soon after birth. So already has asphyxia beginning. Second thing, this baby might have shock, might have aspirated blood. So these are corroborative problems. Plus remember that his mother is not receiving steroids. And in era of surfactant, this baby would require rear ventilation. A similar case 5 years ago would have been remained comfortable on oxygen or nasal or at the most CPAP. Now you would aggressively treat this child with surfactant and ventilation. So this is a classical example how medicine is undergoing a lot of change. The last word, then we go on to practical demo of ventilation. So whenever you have respiratory distress in a baby, what is the first thing you should assess? The respiratory distress score. If it is 7 and around, it could be impending. If it is increase in classical respiratory field, this you are not wise, anybody would do. It is this gray zone which is important. So if you have impending respiratory distress, you evaluate full term versus preterm. Why this full term preterm is? We should remember full terms have got good reserves, very good. Preterms do not have reserves. So full term, you could still afford to serially evaluate this baby with scores. If he worsens, ventilate. If he doesn't, if he improves, your luck. Whereas a preterm, there is no serial evaluation. You put this baby on CPAP right away, or ventilation, whatever it is, user friendly. If he improves, your luck. If he worsens, ventilate this baby. This is just a rough guideline. Okay. Now before I go on to that, let me show you how retractions look like. Have you all seen retractions? I believe you have seen. Let me show you. We'll show it later. Okay. Now, any questions till this time? We discussed a lot about the respiratory failure, respiratory distress, and coming on who are the candidates of ventilation and when they should be ventilated. When is the gray zone? So it depends on the clinical examination of the baby. Now going on to ventilator proper. Is it seen very well from here? Is it okay? Or was it seen well over there? It's fine. It's fine here? Fine. Only thing is should have dropped down. Now what I want to tell you is, how does this ventilator begin? Since we are discussing ventilator over here. See, ventilator is based on the principle of Ayer's TPs. This is Ayer's TPs. All anesthetists use a lot of TPs. It has one limb. There are 3 limbs actually, 3 openings. What happens is, you connect this to patient end, you connect this to gas source. So, and you connect this to the baby or patient over here. The gas source is given over here. So during inspiration, the gas flow goes over here. During expiration, it goes out from here. Okay. Now this is when the baby is spontaneously breathing. But imagine if I occlude this end intermittently and the baby is not breathing. What happens? If I occlude, gas will go to the patient. Inspiration, when I release it, expiration. So intermittent closure of this expiratory limb is what clicked in the brains of those old-timers people, and they modified ISTPs to make the conventional mechanical ventilator. You got this ISTPs principle? ISTPs is not used in newborn at all because you have to attach it to the endotracheal tube, and we have realized that we are not going to intubate babies who are spontaneously breathing and not attached to ventilator. Clear? Now when we are discussing ventilator, any ventilator, be it this PC 900 or any of the foreign ventilators, are based on this principle. There are two chambers, which we will call it as chamber A and chamber B. The chamber A has got gas connection. What gases are you going to use over here? Only oxygen? Only oxygen should we use? Air. Why do we use that? Okay, so let's say compressed air. Why do we use air? Any ideas? Any suggestion?
100% oxygen.
Yeah. But why don't you want? Why? Your problem is hypoxia. You would try and give 100% oxygen. Why do you don't want to give 100% oxygen?
Because boost damage.
Yeah, this is one thing important. Think about the nature. Why there is 20 to 21% oxygen in air and 70% nitrogen? Why is it so? I'll tell you a nice example. Had there been only oxygen, all oxygen would have got absorbed to the pulmonary circulation, all alveoli would have collapsed and nobody would have survived. So to maintain inertness of the air, there is 70% of nitrogen and 21% of oxygen. This is the reason why we have done, why nature has made it so beautiful. Another reason from our side is only oxygen is extremely costly also. Not only it is damaging, it is costly. So we're using two gas source and they are going to deliver at a certain amount of pressures, and the pressure setting is 50 to 70 pound square inch, which if you see the posterior ventilator, I'll show you subsequently. This oxygen and air drives the piston of the ventilator. This is actually a piston. What happens is when you give pressure, this whole thing goes down. So this is known as a driving gas. What happens if it pushes this ventilator, the gas goes ahead. But the gas has to enter this chamber. Not only it is driving, it should reach the patient also. And for this driver, you have something which is known as blender. Is it okay? You understood? You need oxygen air to press the ventilator, and you need something to mix the blend, to mix the gases, oxygen and air. Then you get an oxygen enriched air in chamber B. This is for patient purpose. This is for driving that gas. Have you seen तो blacksmith कैसा करता है? वो क्या करता है? He presses something. Those are known as bellows, and this bellows was actually the principle of driving pressure over here. So now he has got O2 and air in this area. This goes into the inspiratory limb of patient. This is known as inspiratory limb of the patient, and you have to monitor this area, which is known with the help of manometer. And hence, because it is an inspiration, pressure delivered during inspiration, it is known as peak inspiratory pressure. You got this till now. Then you have patient connecting device, let's say the endotracheal tube, from which you have an exhalation limb going on. Okay? Visible from there, no? No problem till now. But you don't have exhalation limb, you have a smart valve over here, and that is known as expiratory valve. Okay? So now let's redo the ventilator again. Gas, oxygen and air mixture entering chamber A, driving the blended gas ahead. Oxygen air mixture through the blender comes to chamber B, enters the inspiratory limb with the measured thing at a preset pressure, is delivered to the patient, comes out, goes to the exhalation valve. This appears simple, but this circuit is complete only when the exhalation valve is closed. So remember your eyes. If I close the exhalation valve, what happens? Patient has inspiration. When I open it, patient goes into expiration. This is how we ventilate any baby over here. But this is a conventional ventilator. It doesn't have any brain. It is all mechanics. If you add some sort of extra settings to it, it becomes advanced or a patient-triggered ventilator, which I'll tell you later on this principle itself. The ventilator is not only this much. What is the next source you require? You require electric connections over here. Of course, powered, 15 ampere you should have. Whatever is the USB and whatever electrical connections otherwise they have to be done. Then you require oxygen tubings. And this is dry oxygen gas. You need to heat and humidify. So you're using a humidifier. Then you have the patient interface device. Heat and humidify, the air comes, then it goes back to the patient. Now, just at this point of time, let me tell you that this is called as conventional ventilation. Want to put this up? Okay, brain to this ventilator, who can sense patient's efforts, What this conventional ventilator is doing, he gives whatever pressures, whatever rates at his own time, at his own sweet glory. But supposing I put a special thing over here which is known as sensor. What does the sensor do? It's an intelligence added to the ventilator. What it senses, the patient is making respiratory efforts. Respiratory effort mean by inspiration. So what does he do? Negative deflection in what? Pressure. Pressure becomes negative. If I breathe in, the sensor will send negative pressure. The volume will also become negative and the flow will also become negative. As soon as this negative volume starts, this sensor picks up that negative deflection and gives a message somewhere to the computer chip inside this, and when inspiration is delivered. So what is actually happening is this. Negative deflection, he would have breathed like this. Disease lung, but the ventilator senses and gives a good supported breath. Good ventilator. This is known as patient-triggered ventilator. What happens in intermittent mandatory ventilation is the baby is breathing on his own and the ventilator gives on his own. आया तो आया, इस पे आया, नहीं आया तो नहीं आया. So this causes what is known as breath stacking. The tidal volume sometimes delivered will be higher. There will be lots of asynchrony, baby is not comfortable. So to achieve this, you add one costly sensor, increase the price of ventilator, and you have a patient-triggered ventilation. So you understood the difference between trigger device and a conventional ventilation. Is okay? Fine. Rahul, तुम्हाला add करायचं? I think we'll add. Now, when we go on to ventilator, we must see the parts of ventilator, what all the ventilator delivers. Okay. So, tell me what does the front panel of ventilator deliver or have? What are the modes? What are the various settings present on ventilator? Flow. Okay. Let's say we start with flow. Then PIP. Then you know what? Every time we have to say WEP that way, sir, such a lot of times. So the foreign people have found out. You will tell us in how many minutes remaining? 10 minutes, but half of it comes out from the peritoneal area. So that is why actually what we are trying to do is deliver tidal volume with that pressure. Remember that piston which I showed you. You press it, you are delivering at a preset pressure. You are delivering the volume. So PIP. What is P?
Functional.
Yeah, very good. Very good. It is positive and expiratory pressure. What is actually positive and expiratory pressure is, if you remember your physiology graph, this is tidal volume. To the tidal volume, if you have forced inspiration, it is inspiratory reserve volume. If you forcefully expire, it becomes expiratory reserve volume. Something remains. The lung doesn't, even if you expire it out, something remains. This is known as residual volume. This you can't remove it. To this residual volume, if you ask expiratory reserve volume, this whole thing is known as functional residual capacity. This functional residual capacity, because of absence of surfactant at end expiration, causes the balloon to collapse. I'll give you a classical example over here. This is a balloon which I have in my hand. If I am to blow it first time, I will require more pressure. But same balloon, if it has been blown by Rahul and so many people and didn't get in my hand, it's easier to blow. Why? Because it has achieved that size. It has achieved that functional residual capacity. This balloon gets collapsed, but had surfactant been there in this balloon, it wouldn't have collapsed to zero. Some volume would have remained. And that is what is known as functional residual capacity, and that is what is maintained by the T. Okay? Inspiratory time is the time for which the inspiration lasts. That is very well remembered. This I time, E time, VR and IE are all hand in hand. The mode, I told you about intermittent mandatory ventilation, the simplest breath stacking one, to assist control. And the FIO2, which decides the oxygen concentration to the baby. Come, we'll see the ventilator. Now, तुम्हें बघितलं ना ventilator? But lot of technology is involved inside that. And then if you see the front part of the ventilator, let's come closer. There is always something which is written as two patient. The air gas blender, blended gas and oxygen mixture is actually supposed to go to the humidifier. So that has not been shown over here. From the humidifier to the patient interface device, that is endotracheal tube. From there it comes into expiration lane. From patient, okay. And this is what is known as the pressure manometer line. So these are all what you have. And you remember I told you about that intelligent device? This is the flow sensor. And where is the flow sensor attached? Just near the patient. Why near the patient? Minimal deflection picked up by the ventilator. And hence this ventilator is an advanced ventilator. So let's pick up. This is set P, this is pressure sensor, this is pressure. This is the FiO2 knob. Actually speaking, apart from having FiO2 knob, you should have how much FiO2 is delivered to the patient, which is there in this ventilator.
No, it's not there.
No, it's not. Okay. Then coming on to the lower panel, you have controlled mandatory ventilation with the SI. This is assist control. This is SIMV with pressure support. We'll discuss that if we have time. This is pressure triggered ventilation, or which is also known as assist control. Auto mode, okay. CPAP. CPAP is also given by this baby, this ventilator. Now, this is what you had said. You had the PEEP, you had the PEEP, you have expirated time, they have inspiratory time, inspired volume. This is the tidal volume which is given, and this is, this is something which is important. This is the trigger device, which is also known as sensor. Okay, this trigger either you can put in pressure or flow. Remember I told you pressure drop, flow drop, or volume drop. So the best out of them for newborns is the flow drop rather than even pressure. And whenever there is a trigger given by the baby to the ventilator, you will get a trigger switch over here, or you can set it, -2, -3, -4, -5, whatever you want, how much ever the baby want the baby to make efforts to click the ventilator. Okay, so PEEP and PEEP knobs to be set, and this is how it's shown. So the 0 level is over here. You must have 2, 4, or 6 always beeping up. What does that say? Oh, very good. That the PEEP is always there. Okay, and if there is a negative deflection, you will get with each breath. When the trigger is get activated, you will have the negative deflection going up, and subsequently the PIP which is delivered to the baby. Okay, I think that is good enough. And this is, I think, the humidifier thing. Yes.
Temperature control.
When we ventilate baby, it should be a smooth ventilation. You must remember some physiological properties of lungs also. This it will be helpful for you when you go for ventilation strategies. So your ventilation strategies depend on what disease the baby is having, and the disease depend on physics of lung. So if you want to understand physics of lung, first thing you have to understand is how stiff is the lung. That is compliance. This is highly compliant. Easily blown up, blown out of proportion. Supposing it becomes rubbery, apply some gum over it, I won't be able to inflate it. If compliance becomes low, it becomes more rubbery, less elastic. So elasticity and compliance go hand in hand. Rubbery lungs, less elastic to inflate, low compliance. Balloon, thin, elastic like rubber band, it's going to be highly compliant, easy to blow up. Little pressure and you get great volume. So this is known as compliance. Second thing is the air doesn't enter alveoli suddenly. It enters through lots of conducting tubes which are known as airway. And what occurs when anything passes, any gas, any medium passes through a small is resistance is offered. Very true. So actually the resistance is offered maximum by trachea. What is the size of trachea of a newborn is 4 centimeters only. What is the internal diameter? As low as 2 millimeters to say 4 millimeters. And imagine if I tell you the resistance offered by a neonatal airway is 20 centimeters of water per kg per liter. Okay, what is in adult? Only 2. So already the baby is beginning with a 10 times higher resistance. Now you obstruct one nose, it becomes 40. You obstruct both the nose, it becomes 80 to 100, even higher than that. So what message it gives you is, you put nasogastric tube, the resistance increases. And increase in resistance causes obstructive apnea also. And ultimately what happens to the baby is, he has to get oxygen into the lung. He's doing some work for that. The work of breathing also increases. So whenever there are problems in compliance and resistance, the work of breathing increases. This is the 3 important factors you have to understand, which will be repeated in ventilation strategies. What is the compliance? What is the resistance? What is the work of breathing? What are the time constants, which I will not tell you, let them tell you. So these are the 4-5 things you decide कि बाबा इसका increase decrease है, तो strategies ऐसा होना चाहिए. Now last we are concluding with tell me effect. Ultimately what are you trying to do by the ventilator? Give in oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. So what happens when you change the settings? You increase the FiO2, what happens to the oxygen? Let's say PaO2, oxygen increases. If you decrease the FiO2, the relation between oxygen concentration, FiO2 and PaO2 is described by the rule of 7. Okay, if you increase the FiO2 by 1%, the PaO2 increases by 7. Okay, understood that. So if I make at say setting of 80%, my PaO2 is 100, and I make it to 81, so that increases by 7. It becomes 107. Okay, this is how it goes on increasing. Another thing, FiO2 has no effect over carbon dioxide, obviously. Come to the next setting, PIP. What does the PIP do to the PaO2 or oxygen level? Increases. And what does it do to the CO, carbon dioxide? PIP? No, it does. What is PIP? Driving pressure, tidal volume. Tidal volume अंदर गया तो क्या होगा effectively? Oxygen बढ़ेगा और carbon dioxide कम होगा. So PIP increases PaO2 of the baby or oxygen of the baby and causes effective removal of carbon dioxide. Clear? What does the PEEP do to the PaO2 and the oxygen and carbon dioxide?
Oxidation will increase.
Oxygenation will improve. Carbon dioxide actually does not have effect, but on the higher range, you are keeping the alveoli inflated for longer time, not allowing the circulation to go, so it increases PaCO2 also. The effect of PIP and PEEP is opposite on CO, carbon dioxide. Okay, tell me now, this is a question. If I reduce the PIP, decreasing the PIP, decreasing the tidal volume, what happens to the oxygen? Decreases. And carbon dioxide? Increases. Very good. What is the effect of rates on oxygen? Yeah, you know what happens is, let's look at it like this way. CO2 will decrease. The decrease in CO2 is more important than increase in oxygen at this time. Why? Because when you are increasing respiratory rate, what happens? Minute ventilation is increased. Minute ventilation is increased, carbon dioxide is removed, some increasing oxygen is there. Coming on to the last of setting, if you increase the inspiratory time, oxygenation increases. And what happens to the carbon dioxide? It will increase, that's right. Why, air true, very true, we'll come to that point. You are giving fixed rate, इतना rate में 1 सेकंड में 1 breath आना चाहिए. तो आधा इंस्पिरेशन को मिला, आधा एक्सपिरेशन को मिला. रेट्स को तुम हाथ नहीं लगा रहे हो, ऐसे ही रहने वाला है. Now you increase the inspiratory time. Who is compromised? Expiratory time. So expiration में क्या होता है? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बाहर जाता है. क्या होगा? ऑक्सीजन तो वो मिल ही रहा है उसको, but on the cost of carbon dioxide भी मिल रहा है. So ventilatory rates. That's why how ventilatory rates, inspiratory time, expiratory time, I ratio are interconnected with each other. You got this? This is how, generally speaking, the effect of settings are there on the oxygenation and carbon dioxide. Okay? Okay, any questions, any inputs you want, any queries? Because maximum job
कितना रहना चाहिए तो
अभी है ना, we are learning basics over here, so let's restrict ourselves to basics. हर disease के साथ, जैसे मैंने बोला, कोई भी disease आपके पास आए तो पहले आप उसका assessment करोगे और उसकी physiology में क्या गलत हुआ है वो देखोगे. आप देखोगे compliance को क्या हुआ है, resistance को क्या है, उसी पे आपका settings decide होगा. Another thing is, फिर बाद में RDS आगा, ये इनिशियली करने का होता है. बाद में RDS आए तो डायरेक्टली फ्लो हो जाता है कि इसमें PIP इतना रखने का, PEEP इतना रखने का, FiO2 इतना.
कौन सा क्वेश्चन है?
No, he asked कि what settings are to be kept for what babies. Is that what you wanted to ask?
How to assess which setting?
How much the waveforms visualized on the panel are helpful in the say the beaking of the wave and all.
This should come into graphics. Graphics are very helpful in understanding physiology.
But the higher end ventilators have those.
Yeah, they are useful. They are using a lot of physiology. And what happens? 5 minutes more? 5 minutes.
Shall we discuss settings?
Yeah, we'll be. पर ये तो वेंटिलेटर पे कंटिन्यू नहीं है. क्लिनिकली अच्छा लग रहा है. यूरिन आउटपुट पॉलीयूरिया एक्सरे अच्छा. और ये लेट साइड सबसे पहला चार्ज जो है कंप्लायंस में इम्प्रूव हो जाएगा. कंप्लायंस में सिंपल चलेगा ग्राफिक्स. Understood?
Pressure we are giving you might require much lesser pressure.
Much lesser pressure. So that's why on conventional ventilator there are lots of problems of pneumothorax. Patient triggered पे या graphics के साथ setting होते हैं. ये आप उधर के उधर ही assess कर रहे हैं. Okay? Okay. Now we wanted to tell them something about it.
Baby is in respiratory failure or in impeding respiratory failure. We are intubated baby. Now we want to select the PIP. What should be the PIP? We don't know the cause of RDS है, pneumonia है. Within them, Peter maybe has got meconium.